Hello, welcome to Two Mediums and a Large. I am here. My name is Lara. I am an evidential psychic medium, and I'm here with.
I'm Robbie, and I am a channeler.
And I'm Heather. I'm a psychic medium and Reiki master.
Yes,
Great.
thank you for joining us today. We have a special kind of episode in lieu of Halloween where we are going to ask some questions with my new dowsing rods and get some answers right from spirit. Where we'll also talk about, some of our paranormal experiences as well as, just checking in and chatting about our experiences over Halloween.
All right. So, how was your week, first of all? Have a good week?
Yeah, great week. Sick today, but great week. Thank you.
Good.
How
Heather?
are you guys?
Yeah, I also had a cold too. I think it's just the season. But my Blue Jays, and I know you guys love sports, we are actually
Yay,
in the
sports
World
ball.
Series. We're in the World Series, so I'm quite happy
Everyone's
about
talking
that.
about it.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah,
First time I
cool.
think in like 33 years, so it's exciting. Yeah. How about you, Robbie?
Nice. I had a great week. I had a great Halloween event last week, Saturday. I got to dress up as Wednesday Addams, which was fantastic. And
Yes.
I had a great time. Did a lot of readings, had a lot of fun, did a lot of dancing. It was great. So,
That's
speaking of Halloween, I just kind of wanted to ask you guys, what was Halloween like when you were younger? I mean, do you have any big memories or cool memories or
hmm.
anything?
Okay. I feel like I honestly, I don't know. I like have amnesia from my childhood, really. Halloween was better back then, and I like maybe because I was looking at it through like the lens of I was a kid. But I just feel that, people decorated more and did all that, and it was more exciting for us as kids. But I don't know, my Halloweens were good. I dressed up as a witch. Shocker, everyone dresses as a witch, and then I turn out to be who I am today. Um, but no, I don't know. My Halloweens were always good. I didn't have a lot of spooky experiences on Halloween, but they were always fun. Yeah.
That's you, Heather.
It's funny because I also was either one of three things for Halloween as a kid, and it makes so much sense given what I do now. Was either a witch, a ghost, or a gypsy, like a fortune teller. Those were like my three main costumes that I always was growing up, that I always stuck to. But yeah, I feel like that too. I feel, and I don't know if it's just in the area that I live, but I feel like when we were kids, there was tons of kids out on the street trick or treating, and now I feel like there's not as many kids. So, but maybe it's just where I live. But I do kind of,
Like
it brings you back that nostalgia, when you were a kid and you got like your pillowcase full of candy, you go over
we
to like
both
your
have
best
our black
friend's house.
cats.
Black
Right?
cat.
So, good
That's
times.
funny. Yeah, I
Stereotype.
had,
Yeah.
when I was younger, I'm like you, it was great. My mom was incredibly talented seamstress. So she made a lot of Halloween costumes for my sisters, well, my youngest sister growing up and my nieces and nephews. And she made me one year a Super Mario costume. And it was a pair of sweatpants with suspenders and a mustache. And I would look at the costumes that she made all these other people in my family. I'm just like, what the heck? I mean, I'm talking about Little Mermaid costumes made entirely
Yeah.
sewn and Snow White dresses. And hell, even her best friend, her brother, she made a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle costume. And here I
Yeah.
was, Mario one year. And then the next year she'd make this and that. And I would be Mario again. And then, every year was just it was Mario, but it was fun. And I do agree back then it was a lot more fun. Like there were not a lot more people
The
around.
costumes were creepier back then
Oh
because
yeah,
you
with those,
everything was like do it
yeah,
yourself. And so it's like you almost everyone looks like they're walking out of like a horror movie just because of that. Like now, we have all these like elite costumes from like, these Halloween stores and everything comes with all the accessories. Back then it was like, you actually look like a creepy haunted doll wearing your like, you know, weird
yeah,
Victorian
you did.
outfit.
Do you guys remember? Did you have the like with like a plastic costume like He-Man? It would have be plastic He-Man you put over yourself, and then that hard plastic mask that had one slit right here for you to talk to. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
costumes, those were horrible.
I saw a
And I always
meme.
cut my tongue.
I saw a meme the other day and it's so true. It showed like the old school, like, going back to like when we were kids and sitting in the classroom and how it was like, it looked like a episode or like a part of the purge because everyone had those like weird masks, right? With like the plastic
Yeah.
costume. So it's kind of creepy,
Yeah, you look
right?
at it now and you're like, what kind of cult were these people in, right? It's but we were talking about how it seems different. And I think one of those reasons, honestly, was now I've never asked you ladies how old you are because that's ungentlemanly. And if I'm anything, I'm a gentleman. So I'm not sure how if you guys remember this or not, but I played that off pretty well, didn't I? Trying to teach people I'm a gentleman. Anyway,
So charming.
so I think a lot of that has to do with like the satanic panic of the 80s. Do you guys remember
Mm.
that when everything had to do with Satan worshipers? And it started, I'd actually looked some of it up because I wanted to talk about this a little bit. It started off in 1980 with a book called Michelle Remembers. Um, and it was a story about a woman who recovered memories through hypnosis of being abused by a satanic cult. So
Wow.
churches and everybody just ran with this. And for those of you that remember it, it was everything had Satan in it. Everybody was Satan worshipers, daycare centers and schools and everything. And now when we look back on it, socialists view it as more of a moral panic than actually anything happening. They think it was due to changes about, changing gender roles and family structures and, pop culture and all that. It just kind of like we do when we get used to something and something new comes in, we automatically try to scare people away from it because it may not be good. Anyway, so I thought it was interesting that that's really how the Satanic Panic started was based off this one book. But I do remember Halloween getting different after that because people didn't want their kids running up to strangers' doors because they may be kidnapped for rituals or anything. Do you guys remember that time? Are you old enough to remember that?
It's not my time, but um, I feel like people are still kind of like that.
They are. They are. And it's, based a lot on that because it was so huge. It's like every talk show had people on there telling you the signs of Satan worshiping. And, police were teaching their forces, how to do it. And um, schools would shut down because somebody said they saw somebody drive by looking for blonde haired, blue eyed kids for sacrifice. It was scary back then. Yeah, you exactly. It was scary back then. I mean, it even got to a point where I remember for a couple of years after Halloween, you could take your candy up to the hospital to be x-rayed so that there were in case there were razors or pins or anything in it. And you think back now, it's like, well, nobody found anything, but thank you for irradiating our kids' candy. We appreciate that.
Now we
I mean,
get
it was really
radioactive candy.
yeah, exactly. No wonder our kids are glowing, right? But it was a really interesting time in America. It really was. I wasn't old enough to really remember it. That's why I had to look back. But I remember the memories from it and just yeah, just being scared to death because everywhere you looked, Satan was going to get you. So it was I think after that is really when Halloween changed and became more of a trunk or treat, all event type thing rather than going to people's houses. Because I mean, I've lived where I live now for almost 4 years, and I've never had a trick or treater here. I don't know if you guys have or not, but I've never had one.
How sad for you.
Yeah, it's like more
Love
candy
to
for me.
kids.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's interesting. So, Halloween is kind of a weird type of holiday. It started out basically as Samhain. It's also the period of Samhain, and Samhain is it's a Celtic. It was a Celtic festival marking the end of harvest and the beginning of winter. But it was also a time like Halloween is considered a liminal time, a thinning of the veil, when the spirits roam the earth and the living can talk with them. And so they would light bonfires and, put on disguises to try to separate themselves from the spirits so the spirits wouldn't mess with them. But over time, Christianity and, other things spread through and it mixed with All Hallows Eve, which was kind of a same type of thing, where the spirits come and people dressed up in costumes to kind of
Yeah.
scare away the spirits. But really, Samhain and Halloween both, to me, represents the kind of the cycles of death and rebirth, right? Because as we're coming out of fall and into winter, things kind of die down, and then they're going to be reborn. And that's kind of the way I see it now. Is every time during this year, I try to let things go because it's time for them to die and go away and welcome in the rebirth of a new person, right? So one thing I wanted to ask you guys about this is it doesn't have to be Halloween or anything, but just because it is Halloween, what are some of the spookiest things that have happened to you in doing this line of work? Younger, now when the veil was thin, when it's not thin, what were some of those things that happened to you?
So I feel for me, I have more experiences now than I did when I was younger. I mean, I remember there was this house that I grew up in, and there was always knocking going on upstairs. And I like I remember I was maybe like 17 at this time, and I felt like every time I washed my face, somebody was looking at me. Every time I went to bed at night, like you know where that heavy energy is, right? Like
Yeah.
it's unmistakable. Like you're there, and you just feel like somebody is literally beside you. I lived in a house like that for a long time, and I actually really hated it. I was like traumatized from it, but I never actually like seen the guy. Now though, what's been happening is I don't know if it's because it's October and the veil is, considered to be thinner, but like I was telling you guys about this, how we have this Victorian boy in my house. I seen him first in my daughter's room. And, despite all of my practices to try to keep all other energy out, children are children and they're always going to draw in energy. So kind of like sometimes I feel it's like brushing your teeth with Oreos in it, and you got kids like that, they're drawing in spirits all the time. But I seen him and I've been seeing him over the course of like the year. And he technically, like, if you were to see him, you'd think he's super creepy looking because, um, he's small. He feels like he's like 8 years old. He's got a little hat on. He's got like that classic kind of Victorian look. And he goes around and he plays with my kids, and I know it. And I've actually tuned into his energy and connected with him. And he's not a negative energy. He's just a young boy from a different time, so I haven't been too eager to kind of get him out of here. Not that I think it would do any good at this point because he seems pretty close to my kids. Like I'm pretty sure my kids are aware of him too. But what's been interesting is the other day, I was in another room and my husband's like, did somebody just come out here? And I was like, no, like the kids are with me. And he's like, I think a ghost just walked out of there. So I'm like, okay. Like he's starting to pick up on these spirits coming around, but this has been twice this month that it's coming from him. And he's somebody that's not like that. So I'm like, oh shit, if he's starting to see spirits around, like there must be a lot of them coming out now because
Yeah.
the other night he was downstairs as well. And he's seen like a lady with long hair and like a long nightgown, like super creepy looking, like somebody you would think you'd see out of a movie, right? And he's like, all the
Mhm.
hairs on him like stood up. And I was like, I could totally feel that energy there too. So I was like, oh my God, like, it's just been happening more and more. And then, my daughter the other day telling me that there's somebody sitting on the chair next to her. So it's just, there's all these creepy things happening, but it's all been happening in the month of October. So not to spook you guys, but the veil is definitely thin in October.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm used to
Yeah.
sensing them, but the fact that other people in my family are actually visually seeing them it's kind of spooked me a little bit. Yeah.
Interesting. You know, I've read and heard other people say, and I believe this, is that the past couple of years, it feels like not only is the veil thinning, but it doesn't thicken much up after how like it used to
Yeah.
after Halloween. That it's like kind of staying thin and it just keeps getting thinner and thinner on Halloween. So
I think
I
it's
don't,
more people are just more aware of spirit now
yeah,
and less people are afraid because there's more mediums coming out and like sharing their light and so people are being more open. They're like, hey, this doesn't all have to be scary. So like it's almost
mhm.
like they're letting their guard down a little bit and seeing that the
And
spirit world
seeing, yeah,
scary as movies make it seem all the time, right?
yeah, yeah. Heather, what about you? You have any scary
And the
or
movies
weird?
love to do that because I feel like that's what held me back for so long was, we've been programmed by the media in multiple ways. But if we're talking about spirituality, that, in movies, they kind of paint this whole picture that everything is evil and that, spirits are out to get you and that it's demonic, which in my experience has not been the case whatsoever. Not to say there isn't low vibrational stuff because there is, but I'm very, good with my energetic boundaries and clearing my fields, and really setting intentions of what I will allow into my energetic field and what I will not tolerate. So, and I feel like that's very important for people to understand, is like, don't be scared to stand in your power and have those energetic boundaries. I have had spirits. It's interesting, I should say, because on my street, there has been a few people in the last couple of years that have passed away, um, all of which have attempted to make contact with me. One actually was trying to make contact while I was in a mediumship development class. And I was literally sitting in this chair in this room, and my teacher said, "There's a girl that's whispering in your ear." And I remember thinking, like, I was just so freaked out by that. But at that time, I didn't have really good energetic boundaries. So, and spirits are opportunists. So she knew, she could tell that I was aware. So she was just trying to get her message across. But that really did teach me that, when we are working with the world of spirit, we really do need to, clear our own field, clear our space, but also have energetic boundaries in place so that people aren't just popping in and out. Although sometimes I feel like, even to the best of our abilities, I feel like there's also lessons intertwined in that. And I feel like people will pop in because, maybe there's a little bit more for you to uncover with your boundaries, or maybe there's a reason why they're reaching out. It's not always a bad thing. It doesn't freak me out anymore. It used to. But now that, like, I feel like I've really stepped into my power, I know that my guides and the archangels have my back and that I am fully protected. I don't allow it to really scare me anymore. Where before I would have been very nervous about something like that, and that, you know, it would have, completely, sent me into a spiral, like, oh my God. But now knowing, they're opportunists. They just, and if I was them, I probably would do the same thing too. If I knew someone on the block,
You
is
think?
aware.
Do you think you can ever 100% get rid of spirit in your house? Like, I feel like people think that when you sage, right? Like, you are setting intentions and stuff like that. When you sage, you have to have intentions. But like, I don't believe personally in my experience that you can ever get rid of all spirits in your space. It's like you can set the intention for your guides, but each person that lives in your house has their guides, right? So you're always going to have spirit energy. It's just setting the intention for good spirit energy instead of, low vibrational.
I would agree with that, because when I clean my house, however I decide to clean it, it's always remove the negative energies. Remove anything that's not in my highest good. I don't want anything here, because I don't mind if there are spirits around me as long as they don't mess with me, and they don't need
Sometimes they're
anything
just
from me.
passing through people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be kicked out of somebody's house when I become one. If I want to go hang around and stalk somebody, let me stalk you, but no, I probably wouldn't do that.
As long as you don't
I
watch me
told
while I'm in the shower, okay?
Yeah, I totally would never do that. Um, but yeah, so I think that has some truth to it, is you can't really get rid of everything, and sometimes you don't want to get rid of everything. I mean, the bad stuff, yeah, I'll get it out of here. It's bogging me down, but I don't know if you guys notice this, but I can definitely notice when like I'm sitting here and something I don't like comes in, or something that messes with my energy comes in, or somebody comes in and leaves it. I definitely can tell that there's an energy in my house
I
that I don't
noticed that
want there.
too. And they present, remember I told you they present in my dreams and then they bog me down for a while, like we were just talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
But I notice sometimes in my dream, I'll know that it's a spirit and they'll take me to like a place. And I almost feel like they torment me in my dream, but it feels real. And so I know at that time that there's somebody in my house that is not supposed to be here. And then so I'll have to do like extra cleansing and stuff like that. Um, but yeah.
yeah. Heather, do you get that?
Oh, I've had some crazy dreams. I remember telling you guys a couple weeks ago how I had a dream where someone actually tried to jump into my body and
Yeah,
they bounced. They
you told us that.
literally, it was, yeah, it was a man and he was trying to jump into my meat suit, as I like to call it. And he basically, like, my aura was completely surrounding me and he just bounced right off. And I said, beat it, get out of here. This is my meat suit. So I just took that as, spirit confirming that, in my opinion, I do not believe that anything can possess you unless you allow it. So I have set very clear intentions that my body is in, or my soul is in my body, and this is my meat suit for this, human journey, and that nothing is ever allowed to ever come in and take over on any level. So I've set that intention very, very clear. But I feel like that dream was just my guide's way of saying, like, you are fully protected. Nobody can come in there and possess you. So, and that's not to say things can't interfere with your energy, because I have experienced that myself, and I've had clearings done by other people where things have been removed, because everything is energy, right? So to think that like nothing ever interferes, or and we do live in a reality where there are high vibrations and low vibrations. So, I mean, that is, part of our
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
Um, but I do fully 100%, and this is actually information I got from my guides, where the only way that something would be able to technically possess you would be only with your permission. So, what do you guys think
Which
about
is it.
that?
I mean, that's interesting, really, that you say that, because especially those of us that do trance channeling or trance mediumship,
Yeah.
that might scare you to say, okay, well, I'm allowing this entity to come in. Does that mean I allow whoever is going to come in? That, and so I think it's important what you just said about setting the intention. Because I know when I do trance channeling, I know exactly what I want to channel, and that is the only thing I allow into my field. Because when I first started, I would start connecting with who I wanted to, and I could feel these other energies trying to get in. So I knew I had to strengthen that. So yeah, I would agree with
Well,
you
with
that you
trans channeling too, you got to make sure you've got like a mentor and stuff like that. Because if you're new to trans channeling, and you're going to set those intentions, you still may not be aware of all, the foundation may
yeah,
not be there, that you may not be aware of who you're actually working with at the time.
right.
So when you're setting the intention, you got to make sure you know what you're doing and you're eased into the process to avoid, just that kind of emotional turmoil you might have after that session. Like, did I really connect with who I thought?
Yeah.
Like I don't trans channel, but because I choose not to. It's still
And
something I have to work through. It scares me a little bit still.
yeah, but that's a really good point, though, because when I first started, that was what was hindering me from doing it more, is because I would, after I would get, I'd be like, no, that didn't happen. That's not what I heard. That's not what I did. And then so my confidence would wane. And so the next time I would do it again. But it wasn't until the way I figured out I was channeling was I was in meditation one night. And as I came out of meditation, I could hear my voice kind of like an echo. And I was like, what the hell was that? Somebody in my house, or is that me? And so
Yeah.
the next night, I set a recorder and recorded my meditation and heard the things that were coming out of my mouth. And then I was like, okay, I have been channeling. That's exactly what's been going on. So that's how I figured it out was, these things that I couldn't remember, but I had recorded. I was like, all right, I guess this is what I'm doing. But you're right. At first, it felt like, ugh, I don't know if I want to do this or not, because this is my body. And what if they get in there and like start making me go murder people, or, they turn me straight, or, whatever it is
I
that
have
ghosts do
kids,
to
so I
you,
was like,
you know?
not doing it. Like, I'm not trying to spook out my kids. Maybe later in life.
Yeah.
I will
Not,
say though that I don't think that trans channeling is like a pure possession, because it's like your subconscious
yeah,
is
you're right.
stepping back for
You're
the
right.
other
Yeah.
consciousness to come in, and they're just using you as a vehicle, right? It's not like a true
Mhm.
possession, in my
I
opinion. At
get
least
that, but
Yeah.
that's what my
Yeah.
guides told me. I know it's still freaky though, to think, and I'm going to be doing this next week,
I
where
can't wait for that. I can't wait to hear the story.
I'm still a little freaked out by it. I'm not going to lie, but I think the time is right. So I think it's going
It'll
to take
be,
me to the next level.
I support
it'll do
you.
great. It'll do great.
Robbie, tell me about your experiences because we completely skipped over you,
Well,
Just
I have one that's really interesting. That it was happened when I was younger. My sister and I we lived in my mom and my sister and I, we lived in a house out in the country. And this house was probably, this was back in the 80s, and it was probably 40 years old then. Okay. So, I mean, I'm telling you, the bathroom had just been built on. Before that, they had used an outhouse.
Oh,
But
wow.
there were two bedrooms, and between the bedrooms, there was a long
did you say an
closet.
outhouse?
Yeah, there was an outhouse. I didn't use
Oh
it.
my God. I paused for a second trying to process. You guys used
Yeah.
an outhouse?
No, I didn't. It had just been built on
Oh
like
my,
a couple of years earlier before we moved into it. Other before that, they did use an outhouse, and Robbie don't use an outhouse.
that's
So,
terrible.
um, yeah, it was. But we had the two big bedrooms, and there was a hall, a closet between them. But because it was so old, the closet, you could go in each bedroom, but it was open where you could actually go through the closet to get to the other bedroom type thing. Okay. but we had this big mirror in there, and I was like probably 12 or 13, and my sister was maybe 7 or 8, and we had just heard about the Bloody Mary legend, saying Bloody Mary
Oh
in
my
the mirror
gosh.
3 times. And we
Yes.
thought, hey, we're here alone at night. What best time to do it, right? Nobody around to protect us. Let's bring in Bloody Mary. So we we sat in the closet, and we laughed, of course, and giggled before we started doing it. So we started, we said it one time, said it the second time, and then we're kind of like, do we want to do this? Are you sure? And of course, yes, we did it. And I swear on everything before me, we're looking at that mirror, and this green orb starts real small and starts growing like it was coming towards us. And
Oh,
that's the scariest I've ever been in my life. I think I screamed like a little girl. No, I know I did. I screamed like a little girl, and we both took off running, and never, ever did that again. And it's funny because I just look at my sister now and say Bloody Mary, and she knows exactly what I'm talking about. And it freaks us both out. But even though it didn't come to fruition, I know that something was happening that night. And
your
maybe it
story's
was just
scarier than mine for sure.
um, I mean, I'm telling you, if I probably did crap my pants a little. I'm not gonna lie, I probably did. But I kind of think that talking about that myth is a good leadway into Lara's dowsing. I think some of the questions we want to ask today are some myths about Halloween, and also some just kind of questions we had about stuff that we've seen in real life. Wanted some answers on.
Yeah.
So, Lara, are you ready with your dowsing rods to do this?
Yes. So, for those of you that aren't sure what dowsing rods are, they're basically like, here, I'll show them to you. So they are these little rods. Get them on like Amazon. And everything is intentional, right? So, this going in, a lot of people are afraid of the rods and think they're just like Ouija boards. Now I want to say I had my doubts. I was a little scared, but as being who I am now, I would never want to leave, like whether it be Ouija boards, I don't condone that. Don't use them in my opinion. But with the dowsing rods, you want to be intentional, right? Like you want to use the proper intentions because you don't just want to connect to anything and anybody. You want to connect with your spirit guides or your loved ones at the light. For me, I work closely with my spirit guides or the archangels. So when I'm connecting, with the dowsing rods, I'm going to ask questions, connect with my guides, and then you'll see how they answer the questions. I usually start
Yeah.
off with like a couple basic questions so we know who we're with, and then you can ask the questions. So I'm just going to set the intentions right now. Do you guys have a
Go ahead.
clear view? Okay,
Yeah.
see like
And
the
Do.
spinner moment?
while you do that, I am just going to say, I don't think I just want our viewers and listeners and everybody to know that Lara has done a dowsing session on me. And this is different than something like this that I've had before, because it wasn't only at where the dowsing rods were saying yes or no. Lara was actually getting channeled messages to go along with those yes or no's that were
Yes, that's
absolutely spot on. So when she does offer this, and she's going to offer it as a session, I would highly recommend you getting it, because there are some questions answered for me that I really had some trouble finding answers on. So yeah. Okay, Lara, are
okay.
you ready?
So for those of you that are watching in video, the rods will go in for yes, out for no. Okay. And then there is like a kind of maybe answer, and I'll repeat it after. So I'm just setting the intention right. Okay. It's my name, Lara. My birthday. Okay. So we're just setting those intentions right now. Am I working on the podcast of two mediums and a large? Yes. Experience. Just center. Okay. We are ready. Okay.
Okay.
Ask
So I
away.
guess I guess the first question I have is, like, I have some myths that I wrote down here that I thought we might answer, and then we can get some other stuff. But the first myth is basically kind of what we were talking about earlier. The veil, or myth or legend, whatever, the veil being thinnest on Halloween. It's not really a myth because we all believe it. But it was one of those things I thought, hey, if the guides are here, let us tell us. So I guess the question would be, is the veil truly thinner on Halloween night?
Yes. Thank you, Spirit.
Yes.
Is it all
Very
of
cool.
October? No. Is it closer to the end of October? Yes.
Right on.
Okay.
So the next question I wanted to ask was about spirits, because we've all heard sometimes they roam more free. We talked about it earlier, All Hallows Eve and Samhain, both where the spirits run free. So that's the next question. Are spirits actually more active and able to visit us during this period?
Yes, thank you. But they're also telling me that it's when you are more open to it. So the more open your energy is, the more you're going to be able to see, which is why children, yes, thank you, which is why
Yes.
children are the ones picking up mostly on spirit near Halloween as well. Thank you,
Okay,
spirit.
awesome. So this is one that I did a little bit of research on it because I'd heard about it, but I need to figure out where it came from. So this one is about jack-o'-lanterns protecting your home, okay? Because I'd always heard that a lit jack-o'-lantern protects your home. And it comes from an Irish legend about Stingy Jack. He was a man who tricked the devil and was doomed to wander the earth with only a glowing coal inside a carved out turnip. So when Irish immigrants came to America, they switched the turnip to pumpkins because they were easier to carve. And then it became a talisman on Halloween, put on your porch to ward off unwarded energies and spirits and stuff like that. So I guess the question I have is, does the jack-o'-lantern actually keep negative spirits away?
That's a no.
Okay,
Thank
you never know.
Can I ask a question here?
Ask it.
Yeah,
Do black cats keep bad spirits away?
no.
Oh.
Ooh, you know what? That's actually Heather. That was part of the next
Heather's
question.
Heather's just sad.
That's part of the next question I have. It's just a different question because it was about about black cats. Okay. So um we all know the bad rep black cats get, that they're evil, and I mean cats can be evil anyway, sometimes.
Yeah.
But the question I have is, do they actually bring protection rather than bad luck?
Do black cats bring protection?
Yes, rather than bad luck.
No.
Ooh, no.
Do
So
all
do they
animals
bring
have energy? Do all animals bring in spirit energy? Yes, thank you. Do
nice.
animals form attachments to spirits? Yes, thank you. And are animals aware of spirits in the room with us? Yes, thank you. I actually know
Yes.
this too, because whenever I'm using the rods, my cats are looking around like in different places and they're almost sporadic the way they look. So I know
You
that
know,
they're seeing who's working with
that's what's
me.
interesting about cats and dogs both too. Cats I know really do that. They're really highly intuitive, but my dog does the same thing too. If I'm actually doing like deep in a session, he'll start
Like
wandering
they're
around
saying
like
yes.
yeah, like who the
Is
heck
it
is here? Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
there'll be times when we're because he sleeps with me. Stay off me. I know people are gonna say, don't let your dog sleep with you, but he's my baby. So
Works for you.
and
That's okay.
that's right. He will jump off the bed in the middle of the night, and I know that he has seen something. That see, yeah,
Oh, they're confirming.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
thank
I know that he's seen
you.
something because he's like, I'm out. I'm not going to do this. And usually it's because my guides have come in and they're doing something or whatever.
Yes.
But interesting. Yeah.
I love when
It's,
spirits confirming they're in the conversation with us.
and I think it's probably ISIS that does it most of the time. So anyway, yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank
So the next question I had was actually about mirrors, okay? Because
you.
I've heard this a lot, is that mirrors are portals anyway. I truly believe that. But when you people that scry, for those that don't know what scrying is, it's basically seeing divination through something like a crystal ball or a mirror, looking into something with a shiny surface and, getting that back. So my question is mirror scrying more effective on Halloween night, more potent, I guess, on Halloween night? No.
No.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm not sure why. I'm not getting the message. It's fine. No and yes? No, I'm getting. Ask that question again. Let me see here.
Okay. Is mirror scrying more potent on Halloween night?
I just keep like hearing like if you believe in that.
Okay.
So
Mm.
again to
Okay.
like intentional. Okay.
I get
Are
that. I get that.
mirrors are mirrors that face each other portals? Yes. Should you sleep with mirrors in your room? No. Will that amplify the energy within your room? Yes.
I guess I better take the mirrors off my ceiling then. Uh,
Oh, I have another question. All right. So if you are using a mirror, does it reflect back to you the energy you're putting into it? So if you cry into a mirror, are you going to have more negative energy? And if you're confident when you look in the mirror and you see good in yourself, are you going to reflect that? Yes. Thank
Can you ask Clara, are all mirrors inherently portals?
you. Yes. Thank
what about this? What if you make your own mirror? Is it still a portal? For instance, I know people that have, okay, yeah.
you.
I've
Thank
known
you.
people that have made a black scrying mirror just by spray painting it, the back of it, because it's shiny black. So that makes sense that it would be okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the old ones. Now I'm going to get into some ones that we wanted to ask. So something that's
Windows be
more,
the same thing? Yes, thank you. So windows, because they carry a reflection. Yes, thank you. Because windows here, yeah, he already knew what I was going to say as I was thinking on it. But as windows carry that same type of reflection, they're used the same. So anything that carries reflection, in my opinion. Thank you.
okay, there we go. Your
Would
phone,
it
even
be
that.
fair? Would it be fair to say then that you are a portal? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Look at you getting all scientific down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of some real life stuff we wanted to ask about. So are the actual events of the movie like The Conjuring or movie The Conjuring real?
Watched that
Did those
last
things
night.
happen?
Did the
Did those
events of
things
the
really?
con actually happen? Yes. Did they happen the way the movie says that they did? No. Was
Mm,
the movie more enhanced? Yeah.
yes.
Was it true demonic possessions? Yeah. Is everyone at risk of that? No. Okay.
Good to know. Okay, and going down that, is it Synerjet? Going down that same frame of retina, going down that same frame of reference, is Annabelle the doll, is it truly possessed?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew that sucker was creepy. I knew it. And then the next question based off of that is all of the stuff that happened when Annabelle was on tour this year, the plantation fires, the deaths or whatever, was that due to
Yes.
Annabelle?
Oh, that gave me the creeps. I just got all the creeps, all the
Uh,
chills. So
that
Annabelle was responsible for all of the destruction that happened on the tour and what led to certain people's departures.
ooh,
Yes.
scary.
Did the people know it was coming before it happened? The energy was off. Did they move out of fear? Were they fearful during the tour? No. Did they think it was fun? And they didn't realize what they were getting into because they didn't truly believe. Okay. Did that make sense
That's
to you guys?
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. And
Thank
that's the list that I
you.
have. Yeah.
That's the
And
list you have. Okay.
that's the list I have. Anybody else? Anything else? Or
Yeah, I think I'm going to ask a question here. Spirit, can you point to where the Victorian boy is standing? Thank you. He's standing right behind me, right? Yes, thank you. That's what I thought. Is there other spirit in the room with me right now? Can you point to them? somebody to my left and somebody, and he's right behind. Okay, is that 2 spirits? Yes. Is there more than 3 spirits in the room with me? Yes, thank you. Are the other spirits my guides? Yes, thank you. Did you enjoy talking with us on the podcast today? Thank you. That ends our session.
Thank you.
But that's
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you, guys. That's fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
So I guess that's the end of our Halloween podcast. Is there anything you ladies would like to
Yes,
say?
that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed kind of breaking up the conversation and just sort of asking these kind of, spooky questions and stuff like that. I did ask the rods earlier because this is something I was scared of growing up. When you watch scary movies, especially as mediums and stuff like that, does it draw in negative energy to you?
Hmm.
Right? I had that fear. The answer was no, and it's okay to enjoy the movies and have fun and allow yourself to be spooked out a little bit. That's what the human self enjoys to do. With that said, please do not like dabble in that sort of stuff and like black magic and all that stuff's very real. But yeah, you'd think I'd be spooked out knowing that these spirits are standing around me, but I'm used to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I would like to build on that too, Lara, saying, yeah, no, I believe that black magic is real, and I believe that those things happen. But I also believe there's some people that know how to use it responsibly. And so, or however, whatever that is. So
Yeah.
if that's what you dabble in it, just don't
Mhm.
throw it at me. I'm okay, please. I don't want that. But
You mean
you
well.
know, to each their own. It's kind of like religion. If you practice that, do it. But just keep it away from me. Uh,
Yeah.
no,
Well,
I agree. I really like this episode. I thought it was great.
yeah, that concludes our episode. In the next few episodes, please tune in. We're going to be doing a mediumship session, some card pulls and things, guided messages, channeled messages that are going to be coming through. We may, have the rods in again. So let us know kind of what you guys want to talk about, and we're happy to address them. As usual, you can always follow us on our socials, which are linked in the descriptions of, each of our streaming services there. Okay. Yeah, it was lovely talking to you guys again. I always love our
Thank you.
conversation.
Have a great day and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.